Good Boy was directed by Ben Leonberg and it stars Indy the Dog. So in this movie, we have Indy and his owner who ends up moving into this house, moving into this creepy house in the middle of the woods until supernatural forces are lurking in the shadows. And now Indy must find a way to protect and save his owner. And now we got our movie. Now, when I saw the trailers for this movie, one, I was worried about the dog of what I just saw in the trailer. Two, the trailer does look pretty good. And three, something in my mind just tells me like I feel like this movie might be very good. And I think number four, I was really looking forward to this movie. Now, as a dog lover and the owner myself, I said, okay, I might as well go see this movie and see what's up. Now, I might as well go see this movie since the trailer was very good. Now, when I saw the review embargoes for this movie, I heard those who have seen this movie, saying that the dog's performance is outstanding. The movie was good. It's terrifying. It's cute, and it's horrifying. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go see this movie for myself. Now, after I watched this whole movie for myself, I thought this movie was outstanding. This movie was fantastic. And Good Boy is one of the best horror movies I ever seen this year. Now, this is a movie that's being told of a POV perspective of a dog, and that is Indy the Dog in this movie being the main character for the first time in a horror movie. So, without further ado, let's talk about one actor, one character, and the main star of the movie, and that is Indy the Dog. Now, Indy in this movie, so like I said, when Indy and his owner move into this house, when they move into this creepy house in the middle of the woods, Indy is sensing that something is not right about this house, that this house might be haunted, the house is creepy, because Indy, when he's sensing something that might not be right about this house, he probably gives himself a tour around the house to see what's going on, and then with Indy and his owner. In this movie. Now, Indy and his owner does have excellent chemistry in this movie, but although you do see the owner throughout the majority of the movie, now the owner is basically in the movie a lot, but the owner is in the movie a lot, but you don't really see his. I think you don't really see his face all that much in the movie, but because I feel like this movie is mostly 100% focusing more on Indy throughout the majority of the movie, because when Indy probably like hears when Indy hears things, and when Indy is like hearing things or senses things like from a dark room or something just lurking in a dark corner, or something in a dark room in a basement or somewhere around the house, he goes to investigate, and then there's some times where he just goes upstairs to check on his owner to see if he's good. But then he does sense something is really, really wrong with his owner. His owner went from being normal to being strange. And what I mean by that, he's probably sensing something that his owner might be possessed or something. But then, and speaking of the owner, I think the owner and Indy do have excellent chemistry together. I love their chemistry and their bond back and forth throughout the movie. But like I said, with the owner, he does act very strange and not acting like himself. And technically, the owner doesn't act like himself anymore. And Indy was trying to find a way and Indy is trying to find a way to investigate this issue, but also try to solve this problem to figure out what is wrong with his owner. And he's trying to find a way to save and protect his owner he's trying to protect and save his owner from the supernatural forces that's been going on around the house. But overall, I think that's pretty much it. But Indy the Dog in this movie, this is like one of the best dog performances, because I can tell the dog's performance has been praised by horror fans, dog lovers, dog owners, or dog lovers and owners who are horror fans. And for me, as a horror fan and a dog lover and the owner myself, I did praise the dog's performance of how incredible the dog's performance is. And I think this took the director a couple of weeks, I think, or months to train his dog. And this is the director's actual dog in real life, but also Indy and the dog is also named Indy as well in real life. And the dog was pretty cute in this movie. And now with me watching this movie, so I was like, yeah, as a dog owner and a lover myself, I was a bit 100% worried about the dog. But overall, the dog does have some instincts, and he went from being scared. He went from being the dog went from being scared to being brave, and I was like, this dog deserves an Oscar. But also, I do praise since I did praise the dog's performance. I think this dog. I feel like Indy the dog deserves an Oscar for best performance. This dog deserves an Oscar. And this dog does, and it looks like the dog has been acting his ass off throughout the majority of the movie, and he did an amazing job. And I think Indy the dog did an amazing job throughout this movie. And Indy the dog is really good in this movie, and that's all I'm gonna say for Indy the dog. And that is pretty much it for the main star of the film. Now, with the rest of this movie, I thought the horror aspects of this movie. Now, there were some jump scares in this movie. I think there's like a few jump scares here and there where I'm just like, I was like, I knew something was gonna pop up or something right there. Where I'm just like, whoa, where did you just come from? Or something. Well, mostly something just appears out of nowhere, and I'm just like, whoa, where did you come from? But then the horror aspects of this movie is outstanding. But there's some jump scares, like I said, I'm trying to get used to jump scares a little bit, but the jump scares in this movie sometimes just scares the living crap out of me, where I'm like, oh my God, I knew something like this was going to happen. So, I thought the horror scenes in this movie were absolutely outstanding. But then, the cinematography of this movie feels more dark toned, and I feel like the director gives one of the best choreographic cinematography for this movie of how dark and creepy this movie is. Now, there are some really good shots in this movie. Yeah, there were some really good shots in this movie that's either taking place inside the house or somewhere outside, and the pacing and the editing and the camera work actually works pretty well. But I think there was like one or two shaky cam sequences where I'm just like, okay, honestly, I'm tired of the shaky cam in this movie. But overall, I think the cinematography is very good. Now for the rest of the movie, the plot and the story was pretty easy to follow, as this movie is still going. And the plot and the story was pretty easy to follow, in my opinion. I really love the story aspects of this movie, but also the music score. Now, the music score in this movie, which I think the music score was fantastic, and I feel like the music score does keep the movie going. And then this movie does most of the times where the movie sends you a message that dogs, not just Indy, but other dogs in real life, can sense and hear things that humans can't, because dogs in real life and also in horror movies can sense, can actually sense something that something might be wrong, because dogs can connect into those individuals. But all of us as humans, we can't really connect into those individuals, because we can't really sense or hear things that dogs can. So, and this movie does have a great message to that. And then with the rest of this movie, I thought the pacing and the editing does go fast and slow, but mostly it does take its time the movie does take its time with the pacing and the editing. The pacing and the editing does mostly take its time for you to follow what the movie is basically about, and also understand what the movie is all about, and what Indy is going through, and what the owner is going through, and what Indy can actually see and sense things that something is really wrong, and he's trying to figure out how to solve this problem. But overall, but for the rest of this movie, I thought this movie was outstanding. But but yeah, this movie is basically outstanding. But I think there's nothing much else to say. But overall, I think that's pretty much it for this movie review of Good Boy. If you have seen this movie, what did you think of it? Do you like it or you don't like it? Let me know. But for me, I love this movie. Now, like I said, since I'm a dog lover and an owner myself, I think this movie really piques my interest, and I think this is one of the best horror movies I ever seen this year. And I feel like I want to watch this movie all over again of how I really love this movie a lot. And the dog, Indy, is outstanding, and he gives one of the best dog performances I ever seen, and that is all I can say. And that is all I can say for the movie Good Boy, and there's nothing much else to say, so be sure to like, subscribe, press the notification button, follow me on Instagram and comment down below, and I'll see you on my next video, and thank you for watching.